Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. Today, once again, we will be flying in winter conditions. Well, actually, I'm saying once again, while in real life, it is going to be more like for the very first time on this channel. Or at least for the very first time live on this channel. So, we are sitting in the A310 and there is an event going on today on VATSIM, taking us all the way from St. Petersburg to Moscow, and the official event route doesn't lead us back, but I hope that we are going to have the time to fly this one back as well. So, weather forecast for today was quite bad, so quite a bit of snow forecast, and we can see we do indeed have quite a bit of snow lying around on the parking positions and on the aprons. Unfortunately, it's not snowing right now, but at least that is going to make things quite a bit easier. Before we start off, well, do I need to say anything about this? Like literally on the light pole? Well, good job there. Anyway, we're gonna take it from there and we'll get ourselves going. So, as always, we will be using SimToolkit Pro for everything related to the flight plan and for the landing monitoring. You will definitely get a landing feedback from me, so you will get to see however bad my landing is actually going to be. So, Daniel, you can't park there. Well, I guess you are referring to our little friend up on the left corner. However, I do quickly want to say something about parking where we park, and that is right over here. You can see we're parking on the right lane on the parking spot up here, while the 310 as a heavy aircraft would actually be supposed to be in the middle. And yep, that one comes down to GSX once again, because lovely GSX wouldn't recognize the parking spot in the middle there. So that's why we're sitting where we're currently sitting. Alright then, let's go ahead and have a look into our flight plan, and you can get that one on SimToolkit Pro just over here. And here it is. Will be the Aeroflot 021 leading us from St. Petersburg to Moscow Sheremetyevo. Flight level 390 is planned for a short flight of just about an hour and 2 minutes, so it's going to be a very short time at our cruise level today. Let's look at what is actually interesting for us today, and that is the weather forecast. So looking over here at the weather forecast for our destination Moscow Sheremetyevo, we're looking at visibility 6 kilometers, overcast 600. Highest temperature today is going to be minus 6 degrees centigrade at 1800 UTC. And the forecast from 1500 UTC onwards, so pretty much from now for our destination, indicates light freezing drizzle, light snow, broom, overcast 300. So that's like real winter conditions as we would expect them. Our alternate, I do honestly not even know how to pronounce that, so my apologies for that. But they are showing good weather forecast over there. So the alternate's looking good. Our destination, Moscow, might be pretty bad. And looking at the forecast here in St. Petersburg, as we will probably be flying back home later on, with light freezing drizzle and light snow with an overcast at 1200. And then later on in the evening, 1200 meters, freezing drizzle and light snow and broken 300. So once again, some very nasty landing conditions there. So if we go up a little bit in the flight plan, we see our alternate is about 36 minutes away. We don't have any extra fuel planned over here, however, as we can see, we do have, well, as we cannot see actually, unfortunately, but SimBrief did plan a lengthy protracted arrival. So there is a little bit of extra in there. Combining that with today's event, I am rather keen to say, in case the runway does close for snow clearing, they're pretty good at that in Russia, so we don't have anything to worry about. But I would say we take at least half an hour extra fuel, so make that 2 tons more. That should give us plenty of fuel for some holding, and then we can still divert in case we need to. I would go with a block fuel here of 11 tons. That gives us quite a bit of extra fuel and some time for holdings in case we have to. And Flatterer, why are you flying the 737 so rarely? Well, to be totally honest, the 310 is just a very nice aircraft, and I just like it. That's why I'm flying it. But I will give you a little bit more 737 content over the next couple of days, promised. Okay, so let's head over into our plane. It's pretty dark down here, so let's get the thing turned on. Alright, batteries, let's see, we have some voltage. It has to be greater than 25.5, which it is in all cases, otherwise we'd need the GPU. So that's all the 3 batteries on. Wipers are off, landing gear down, and the flap lever matches the indication. Fuel is off, weather radar is off. That means we can turn our external power on. Let's get ourselves a little bit of light as well. We are around about at 60 north up here in St. Petersburg, so at this time of the year things are pretty dark over there. And in order to actually get a flight during the daylight hours, I had to set this one to rather early morning, after sunrise. So just after sunrise. Okay. Here we go then. We do want some oxygen, we do want the flight recorders, and the IRSs can go on as well. So, let's see what we're about to do. A310 CF6 engines database is current. And actually, you know what? I know you guys like the SimBrief uplinks so much, so let's just go for it. And here we are. Route is uplinked. Align IRS. And here we go. You know that I'm not the biggest fan of those uplinks, but I know that so many of you are, so I thought, well, we might use it as well. Not very complicated, saves us the hassle of inputting everything in the FMC, so who knows what it might be good for. And that master caution is pretty bright there. Let's dim those lights. That's better. Right, so time to load up our airplane then. So, we said we want fuel of 11 tons. Confirm that. Then, for the passengers, we are gonna be completely full. So, 238, and for the cargo... Andy, how long is the flight? It's going to be just about under an hour, hopefully. Depending a bit on the traffic situation in Moscow, but it should be just about under an hour.
St. Petersburg traffic from 180, right, okay.
Okay, so 105.4 is the planned zero fuel weight. That means we'll need 6.2 tons in the cargo holds. Sounds good to me. And apply. Okay, so quick cross-check over here to make sure that we actually covered everything we needed to cover. At least as soon as my software doesn't act up. There we go, that's better. Okay, so alternate, Uniform Bravo India. Cruise flight level above max flight level. Yeah, might be due to the extra fuel. So we're gonna have a look into that in a second. Costing next we can take something high, and we are the Alpha Fox Lima 021. So, planned departure runway is 10 right. We don't have any ATC online yet, but they should be coming right on the hour. So, let's just use 10 right as they have planned right now. Sugan 1 Charlie departure. And that certainly looks good. And over to Sheremetyevo. That'll be planned for 06 right on the Namin 3 Foxtrot arrival. And do we need that transition? Yep, we end up at Kesbu. Then we need that transition. Secondary flight plan, we'll just make it a copy of the active. So block fuel is gonna be 11 tons, 0 fuel weight. Is gonna be 105.4. And the CG, let's have a look. 25.2. Alright. Optimum 370, so let's go for that. 370 is cruise level. So, since we are kind of talking about winter ops conditions today, we have the very first thing to do here. And that is, as soon as the airplane is powered up, and we just did the most important stuff there in the FMC, but as soon as the airplane is powered up, when you have a temperature of 3 degrees or less, which definitely is the case, we are currently at minus 6 degrees as you can see, so with 3 degrees or less, and visible moisture. Now we don't have that at the moment, but in case any precipitation would kick in, and I know that I'm very likely to forget because situational awareness in the flight simulator is a little bit harder than situational awareness in real life if you ask me, but the first thing you are supposed to do is turn those probe heats on, and I'll just switch the window heat on straight with it. The reason for this is that with the probe heats turned on during the turnaround already, we can avoid any precipitation actually freezing on our probes. So that's just a prevention measure, and we do that from 3 degrees centigrade or less. Dicketwave, do you ever sleep? That's something I should better not answer. Okay, fueling's done, seatbelts can go on. Let's also give ourselves a little bit of light. Hydraulic is low pressure and all. Ground control is on. Chopin logo lights. Turn on all the trims and the yaw damper. Let's put the coffee machine on. I could certainly imagine somebody might definitely want some. Refueling is finished, so the fuel pumps can go on. A bit of an Airbus thing in the Boeing, we just flick them on straight away. That's APU fire, and that is working. Then let's test the loops. And cancel this. Better. Okay, engine number 1, loops, and the fire test. Alright. And finally the number 2 engine. That does look good. Right, and the last one, I'm a little bit careful with that, because I'm afraid of pulling the APU fire switch. But I managed to do it without actually killing anything and everything. Okay. So, the outflow valves are currently fully open. That means that the crew who parked the airplane previously either did not have any precipitation, but if I'm in an area like here, Russia in winter, where I would expect some precipitation, I would put the pressurization mode select into manual and fully close the outflow valves to prevent anything from entering the systems that's not supposed to be there. Alright, going on from there, let's see, runway heading is gonna be 095. Alright, 095, and we'll come to the speed later on. So, what's the present weather looking like? Oh, no, this is what I wanted. Nothing? Interesting, it's not giving us any weather information over here. Well, in that case, let's use the simulator's own function. But why is this not working? Well, my best bet is that the weather provider they're using might currently not be active in Russia. Don't know. Previously it always worked. Anyway, we have wind 110 at 5 meters per second. Temperature -6, QNH 1034. So 1034, and that's set 3 times. Airport elevation at 100 looks pretty correct to me. 70 is what we have in the box. Alright. Alternate brake test. So manually applying some brake pressure now. We can see the accumulator pressure is decreasing while the brake pressure is actually increasing. And that's released again. Back to primary brakes and park and brake is set. Landing gear warning. No, let's try that again. Yep, it's working as it's supposed to. Landing elevation, Moscow Sheremetyevo, that is 600 feet. Here we go, and is that actually correct? I believe it is, but let's verify. Yeah, 670 in here. Let's put this to 650, that should be good. Okay. Frequencies I don't really know yet. Last time I've flown in St. Petersburg with ATC is a long time ago. A long time ago. Okay, and that's pretty much our setup complete for now. Quick look at the engine pages, all quantities looking good. Hydraulic quantities looking good, just like we've seen on the overhead already. Okay, so that's that part of the setup complete. Now, the big question is, unfortunately I still don't have the Navigraph charts version 8 inside the simulator. At least as far as I know it's not available yet, so let's just go with the old Navigraph charts, because some usage of charts will certainly help us out today, as those are airports that I'm really unfamiliar with. So let's see what we actually have then. Okay, that one's easy, even I can do that. So the SID is pretty much Suginmon Charlie straight ahead and cross Sugan above level 70. What else do we have there? Transition altitude 3,500, and that should be in feet as far as I'm aware. Aircraft not equipped for altitude in feet. QNH can be assigned height in meters QFE upon request. Well, we will not request that. So, flying in Russia has changed a little bit recently, in that they are no longer using meters and QFE as they used to in the past. But actually Russia is using feet and QNH now, just like the majority of the rest of the world. So let's see how that is actually going to look like in the event later on today. So here's where we are, parking down here, and it's going to be either runway 10 left or 10 right. We'll have to see what they assign. But taxi is going to be either up here or down here. We'll probably have to de-ice the airplane over here, even if it's just a one-step procedure to protect it. Because I am a little bit afraid when we are going taxiing. There's quite a bit of contamination on here on the ramps, so if any of that sprays up to the wings, I'd rather have a bit of protective fluid on it. And obviously, looking at these weather conditions, if the airplane came in through the clouds up here, I would be pretty certain there will be some ice on the airplane that we'll probably have to remove. So de-icing is definitely going to be a bit of a thing today. Okay, I would say that pretty much leads us directly into the briefing. Just before I start that, crazy, what scenery is this for St. Petersburg? It's a freeware available on flightsim.to. It was the best I could find, and if I'm honest with you, it actually does look pretty good. I mean, for freeware, I like it. Oh nice, some 777s over here as well. Looks like this is going to be a busy event, so we'd rather get going as soon as possible. Just prior to that, Alex Kim 302 is the weather page of the EFB beta. Yes, exactly it is. Alright. So let's go ahead and start with a briefing. So threats for the departure is winter operations. Chances are we do have some contamination on the taxiway, so we are going to keep the flaps up for taxi. And therefore the big threat there is to forget to extend the flaps just prior to takeoff. Holdover time should not be too much of an issue since we don't have any active precipitation. However, we will still de-ice the airplane. Apart from that, I do not really see, well, Russian language is a bit of a thing since it will reduce our situational awareness, and since we're flying under an Aeroflot call sign, I would actually not be surprised if the controllers try to call us in Russian every now and then, just because they might be easy to forget that we are not understanding Russian with so many other Russian people flying around, so that's a bit of a threat there. Okay, and I think that is actually pretty much it. So then let's go ahead and do a quick route check. And that's down here, going from Uniform Lima Lima India to Uniform Uniform Echo Echo. Throttle 370 is planned, and the ground distance on this is 382 versus 376 from the flight plan. Okay, UTC time 0736 is just a random time that I've set really because I wanted daylight conditions for the live stream. Altimeter is 1034, reading 100 feet, 3 times. Flight directors are on, standby instruments set. This is going to be a lefty takeoff, runway 10 right, flaps 15, noise abatement procedure number 2, and emergencies we can go straight ahead, climbing 4,000 feet, that is going to keep us safe. I would say that's pretty much it. Emergencies, standard briefings as we just did in the crew room on the way to the aircraft. Then let's have a look into our taxi routing. So we're parking down here, and it's going to be either most likely down south and then via main Alpha for a full-length departure on runway 10 right. Let's see, we could take Alpha 4 intersection, then it's gonna be like 600 meters less runway available. So if we calculate 3,000 meters runway length, that should keep us safe for either runways. Our departure is over here, the Sugan 1 Charlie departure, and that's taken straight ahead. Let's see this, Lima India 784, 767, and then inbound to Sugan. The MSA in that sector is 2,600 feet, so there are no altitude corrections necessary to be applied. Okay, and that should pretty much be it then. You have any questions on the departure briefing? Probably not, I like that. Let's go ahead then. Yeah, the tailplane seems to definitely be clear of ice, so let's go ahead and start that APU. It just takes ages to do here. Normally, we would try to de-ice the airplane with the APU stopped, but thanks to the GSX logic, I'm a bit afraid that it might just pull off the power in case we do request de-icing without the APU running. Okay, the other big thing right now is that I'm unable to pre-file via flight plan VATSIM because the website is just not responding. Actually, while I'm saying that, it is responding, so treat that as you've never heard anything. The flight plan is now pre-filed on VATSIM. So ATC should come online in 4 minutes. Right now there's nobody there, but we can definitely start to get our de-icing going since holdover time is not too much of an issue today. So I'll just wait until the APU has actually started, and then we'll start with the preparations for the de-icing. In the meantime, let's try to calculate some takeoff data. We said 3,000 meters of runway is definitely going to be sufficient for the intersection. Unfortunately, we can only distinguish between dry and wet in the InnyBuilds EFB. I hope that that is going to improve with a future version, that we at least get some contaminated figures, because it would be very nice to have the possibility to actually talk you through some of these features that we have here. Runway heading, we'll take it from here. Now let's try to get that weather once again. It's unfortunate that it doesn't update automatically inside the EFB. So, Pulkovo, we have the wind 110 at 5 meters per second. Now you can approximately say that 1 meter per second equals 2 knots. So if we take this as 110 at 10 knots, then that's going to keep us safe. The temperature is currently -6. And the QNH is 1034 hectopascals. Alright, the other thing that we can do real quick, you can see those numbers behind the QNH in the meta, that R10R/550539 and R10L. That is basically the runway condition that we have. Now, this is all a little bit out of date, because nowadays they are using a different reporting format called the global reporting format. And of course, in real life, if we had these codes, we would use the stuff we have from the HOTAS for our runway state and our departure figure determination. However, since in the flight simulator we do currently not have that data available, and I seriously doubt that we are going to get GRF data at any point in the near future, let's quickly have a look into what we can actually do inside Flight Simulator then to decode those runway states from the meta. And on the website of IVAO Netherlands, we have a very nice runway state decoder. So let's quickly talk over this and have a look at how the runway states are currently reported. Of course, there are some apps available that will do this automatically for you, but at least in my airline, we are still doing this stuff manually if we have to. So, starting down here, we have R10R, that is runway 10 right. Now let's go ahead and go into the website. So, we're reporting 55. So, there's down here, wet snow. The second 5 is 26 to 50%. So we have the first, that's indicating we have wet snow on the runways. At 26 to 50%. And we have that followed by 0.5, which is the depth of the deposit. So, in our case, we can see it's 5 millimeters deep. And then we have 39 behind that, and that is going to be the runway friction coefficient, so can pretty much see that down here. From there we go into a table that we have in our operations manual, which for obvious reasons I'm not allowed to show you, and we would determine the braking action associated with that. And you would then go into the Talpa matrix table, and from there you would determine the actual data that you can use. So we would try to do that. Let me quickly see if I can find a Talpa matrix for you. Trying to see if that one is available anywhere in public. It probably is. If you want to search for it yourself, it's spelled Tango Alpha Lima Papa Alpha. Well, unfortunately, it seems like it is not available in public, but I might very well be mistaken on that. Stand by 1 second, trying to find it, if we have it anywhere. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't really look like it. Of course, this is just me being unlucky right now. I thought I had it available just prior to the live stream. Well, I'll try to see if I can find it throughout the day, and if I can, I am going to show it to you at a little bit later point in the stream. So anyway, we can say from our evaluation of the runway condition code that we do have coverage of 26 to 50% of wet snow on the runway, and it has a depth of 39 millimeters. In other words, the runway is definitely contaminated there, and that means that we would have to select appropriate conditions in our EFB. Alright, you are, by the way, going to get a full tutorial on this as soon as the PMDG EFB is out. Anyway, for now, let's go ahead with some calculations. So next thing for us up here is the anti-ice. We have to select engine anti-ice only because we will be de-icing the aircraft. By the way, talk about de-icing. The ABU is available, so we can disconnect our ground power and we can request our pushback already so that the de-icing vehicles are going to come up. And yes, we definitely want to request them. Okay. So, takeoff weight is gonna be 116.4. So 116.4, air conditioning will be on. Let's calculate some takeoff data. 130, 132, 146. Okay. So 130, 132, and 146 coming in on the FCU. And then we'll just preset a climb speed at the flaps up speed, so 216. Okay. So that should pretty much be our setup completed here. Flex takeoff at 59 degrees, we set. Alright. And by now there is ATC online, so let's go 1 to 1.9 and try to get a clearance. Oh yeah, Russian. There we go. Well, we'll have to live with a little bit of Russian language today. St. Petersburg delivery, Dobry вечер, Aeroflot 021, information Foxtrot, request clearance to Moscow.
Confirm, aircraft is ready for takeoff.
Aeroflot 021 is cleared to Moscow via the Sugan 1 Delta departure, climb 3,500 feet, squawk 0726.
We begin treatment now and observe fluid type 1, concentration at 75%. I will call you back when ready.
121.7, Aeroflot 021, thank you very much. Okay, so GSX just messed it up as it automatically decided the de-icing fluid, and that is something I did absolutely not want. So, reset position, we're going to do that again. And try to start the de-icing with the ground, with the doors open. Big no-no. So, let's go prepare for pushback and departure, and then we'll do things all over. And, by the way, we also have to put the new runway in. So that said, it's going to be 10 left for us. So 10 left, Sugan 1 Delta departure. Quick review of the SID then. And let's just go ahead and leave the frequency for a second, so that we have a little bit of silence. So, where is it? Here it is. Sugan 1 Delta departure is pretty much the exact same thing. Okay. Now 3,500 feet, and the squawk is gonna be 0726. So the SID then is via Lima India 783, Lima India 701 and Sugan. Okay, easy going. In the notes, unless otherwise instructed, climb 3500 at 700, contact Pulkovo radar. Okay, 120.3. Perfect. We are going to do that. Okay. For the performance, I don't think there is anything extra we need to do, because we did already calculate with less runway. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's try a second attempt at getting GSX to work. And yes, we do want de-icing treatment. So, if you have seen my tutorial number 1 on winter operations, then you will probably have an idea what kind of de-icing fluid we will be looking for. So we can see there's a bit of contamination there still on the aprons, but not too much. And the aircraft currently does not have any contamination on it. So what we will do is a one-step de-icing procedure using the fluid type number 1. That is going to provide a nice protective coating on the aircraft to avoid it from freezing over by the time that we do leave. Okay, and you guys say that nobody can hear ATC, is that right? I mean, right now I have him turned off. Did you hear him when I requested my clearance? Let me just try that once more and go back to the frequency, see if we can hear him. Right now there's silence. You guys say I couldn't hear well, Carl says he could hear ATC, okay. Generally, looking at the well, right now there's nothing going on the delivery. Let's... Well, we'll get that settled in a moment. Okay, so we want fluid type 1. And let's take 100% concentration. And let me quickly explain exactly what is going to happen with that. The type 1 fluid is very well suited for a single step procedure that is both going to remove any contaminant that we have on the airplane and protect the airplane from freezing up again. Now, type 1, however, is also the weakest fluid to say so. So, if we have a look into the holdover timetables, we can find that over here. It's an official document from the FAA. So it's FAA holdover time guidelines. If you Google for that, you're going to find the PDF straight away. And in here we can see holdover timetables for SAE Type 1 fluids on critical aircraft surfaces, composed predominantly of aluminium. So we can see we have a temperature that is between -3 and -6. And then we would have a look into the kind of precipitation that we do have. And then we could determine the holdover time available. Now, as you can see, these are pretty short with Type 1 fluid. If you go to other fluids, so going down over here, we then have tables for all the different kind of fluids available. But let's have a look, for example, at a Type 2 fluid, in case we would use one. And then we could see that at a temperature between -3 and -8 over here, in here we would have already holdover times between 30 and 45 minutes. Now, since there is currently no precipitation, I'm totally happy to go with the Type 1 fluid. And we can see that even in case we do get some precipitation, it's probably going to be in the region of lighter snow or something like that, so it's going to be between 8 and 14 minutes. That should be suitable to get us out. Also, keep in mind when the snow starts, it's probably going to be very light initially, so something 14 to 17 minutes. So we are definitely well protected. Okay, now someone tell me, why did GSX not ask me if the aircraft was ready for treatment? Yeah, sometimes I just don't understand it.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So, they say they are ready for pushback. That is good, that is fine. We are not. Sometimes I don't get why GSX just can't wait with that de-icing, cause would have made things a lot easier to explain for you guys. Anyway, let's go ahead with the before start checklist down to the line. Cockpit prep completed, signs on auto, fuel quantity 10.9 tons, navigation checked set, landing elevation 650 set, altimeter 1034 reading 100, and brake anti-skid normal on. Before start checks complete down to the line. Okay, then let's change over to ground and get our pushback clearance. Are you able to hear ATC now, by the way? Now you should definitely have heard. Well. Trying to find in the settings right now why you couldn't hear them. And I think I know why. This should be better. Oh yes, this certainly is better. Here you go, guys. Now you got the Russian as well. Okay, now you should definitely be able to hear them.
Ground Air 47 Bravo, stand 105, over 340, we're ready to push and start.
Air 427 Bravo, Bucko grounds, good evening, pushback and startup approved on Delta facing north.
Push down Delta approved facing north, Air 427 Bravo.
Bucko ground, Dobrovecha, Aeroflot 021, stand 106, request, push and start.
Air 4021 Bucko ground, good evening, stand by.
Stand by. Oh no, I guess because he just cleared that one. Now he expects him to push behind and then start his taxi first, so... that might take a while now. Oh no, we got the Siberian pushing there as well. Probably that's the reason we have to stand by. At least hopefully. Because he just approved this one. Well, then we're kind of stuck between the two. Okay. Well, we'll get there eventually. In the meantime, we can then talk a little bit more about the de-icing then. Because GSX unfortunately didn't wait for anything, so once again GSX, very good job. Lovely program. 100% recommendable. Anyway, the correct procedure in general... Was that for me? I think we missed a call, but he's gonna do it again.
Aeroflot 021, Bucko ground.
Aeroflot 021, go ahead.
Aeroflot 021, pushback and startup approved to Delta facing north.
Pushback and startup approved on Delta facing north, Aeroflot 021. Okay, so continue pushback, let's try that again. No, we don't want de-icing again. And facing north is gonna be nose left. Okay, I'm gonna talk you through the de-icing, no worries. We'll get there, eventually. Before start checks below the line. Windows doors closed, beacon on, park brake set, before start checks complete. So where is the Siberian? Well, clear. That guy's slowly pushing, so we better get moving as well now. But he seems to be careful, that's very nice of him.
Release parking brakes.
Here we go, brakes off.
Commence and push. Due to icing conditions, please
What
stand by
the-
for start until push completed and brakes set.
How long can it possibly
And
be?
Aeroflot 27 Bravo, please set squawk mode Charlie.
Talking about
Yeah, that does not look good. And what on earth is GSX doing here? This is literally a default profile. I don't have any profile for St. Petersburg. What on...
Set parking brakes.
Really? Set park and brake? I'm very tempted to say something that I will regret later on.
Unlocking gear.
No further comment. Wow, now the frames are literally 0. Okay, come on, GSX. You cannot be serious. Please vanish. Vanish from my computer. Look at that! This is not the stream being bad. This is... the start at the very moment GSX stopped its pushback.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please die, Throttle engine. Well, Ron, you're absolutely right. At least there is no pushback needed anymore. By the way, look at the frame rates now that I killed the Throttle engine. And on this occasion they can't even blame any particularly bad... On this occasion they can't even blame any particularly bad custom-made profile or something. No, this one was totally default.
Управление, добрый вечер, Сибирь, здесь 08, станк 108 Альфа, разрешите фиксировку группы.
Сибирь, здесь 08, по руления, здравствуйте, ответчик режим Чарли, выталкиваем разрешаю на Чарли, носом на север.
Ответчик Чарли, выталкиваем разрешили на Чарли, носом.
I filled out the Navigraph community survey today, and it asked me about the add-on I'm looking forward to the most for next year. I kinda regret that it didn't ask me, like, what is the add-on you hate the most from this year? Because I would certainly have known the answer for that. Okay, so we have 2 good engine starts, clear disconnect, and bye-bye. May we never see you again, hopefully. So, very important, after you de-ice the airplane, do not use wing anti-ice. Because that heating of the wings is going to have a negative effect on your... that is going to have a negative effect on the de-icing fluid, and that will invalidate your hold over time. Also, we will leave the flaps up for taxi, and we'll defer the flight control check as well, because I'm a little afraid that we might get some contamination spraying up from the ground, especially when we have a 777 in front of us taxiing, which may contaminate our surfaces. So, after start check, pitch trim, 1.2 set, rudder trim, 0, spoilers, armed, slat flaps, up, ecam status checked, anti-ice, on, hand signal received, after start check is complete.
Аэрофлот 1336, станка 136 на вышке, готов к рулению.
Аэрофлот 1336, ответчик режим Чарли, предварительно ВПП, здесь слева разрешаю, вправо, по Фоксу, вправо.
Ответчик Чарли установим, предварительно здесь слева разрешили, вправо, по Фоксу, вправо, Аэрофлот 1336.
Aeroflot 021, request taxi and we're able to taxi straight out.
Airport 021, confirm ready to taxi. Correction, ready to pushback.
We're ready for taxi. GSX messed the pushback up and we're now facing towards the apron, so indeed we are able to taxi straight out now. Aeroflot 021.
Airport 021, Roger, taxi to hook and point runway 10 left via Delta and Bravo.
Taxi hold point runway 10 left by Delta and Bravo main Aeroflot 1 correction 02. Okay, so taxi is pretty much right turn out.
Very good evening. Ready for pushback and startup on set.
Pretty much following the 777 over there. So brakes off, let's go.
Airport 0 correction 805 local ground. Good evening. Pushback and startup approved on apron facing west.
The Delta is just leading us up here. That's the one that's directly in front of us to the right, and then main Bravo is going to be this one over here. Clear on the left. Clear on the right.
Airport 805.
Oh look, somebody else is also using GSX for his pushback. Because that's how you can get these kind of things there.
So we can push back straight and then turn right.
Okay, airport 0, correction 805, roger, pushback and startup approved.
Airport 805, pushback and startup is approved.
Mr. Marcel A380, quick edit pushback still does not work for me since month. It was even reported on the forum by others, but no, GSX, quote, is not very often to make, quote, end. For problems. Big oof. Yeah, you name it.
Здесь 16, ошибка Эко Браво.
Alright, so looks like the majority of the contamination on the apron has just gone away. So we might as well taxi a tiny bit faster than usual. Normally, if we did have contaminated taxiways, we would go with a maximum of 5 knots on them. But, well...
Airport 20, correction 27, Bravo, contact...
Looking at this, it actually looks like...
the
weather... Oh, it actually looks like the apron is pretty clear now. Well, that's a little bit... contamination left on the taxi lanes if you look at this. Not really much anymore. Okay, well, if conditions have improved this much, like the snow is even vanishing from the grass now, that's a pity. I really hope I could show you some proper winter conditions here. Well, then we can also go ahead and do the flight control track. Up. And look at this. Look at the snow on the grass there. Very good job, Microsoft. Very good job. Not. Okay, well, flaps 15. I don't see any reason why we should get contamination on the flaps anymore, so...
Вот 13.36, продолжайте руление за бортом авиакомпании Airport 10.
Продолжаем руление за бортом по 310 авиакомпании Airport 13.36.
Quick takeoff review, left to takeoff from my 10 left, flaps 15, speeds 130, 132, 146, and the set is takeoff straight ahead. Contact departure when passing 700 feet on 120.3, and that is actually the guy who is online as well. So departure frequency 120.3, climbing initially 3,500 feet, so we gotta make sure not to pass that altitude because it is a pretty early level.
120.3, have a nice flight, bye-bye.
Aeroflot 021, confirm 120.3.
120.3, Airport 021, affirm.
120.3, Aeroflot 021, thank you very much, bye-bye. Interesting, so they don't have a tower online, it seems. Man, this live stream is not going the way I hoped it would.
Победа 208, Bucco Ground, good evening.
Kind of nothing works today. Not all the ATCs there, not, well... I'm not going to complain. I'm just not going to complain. Stay calm. Okay, before takeoff checklist in the line. Flight controls, check, briefing, confirmed, sled flaps, 1515. Performance FMAs, 130, 132, 146, and we have enough arms. Takeoff config check, transponder set, before takeoff checklist complete. Look over radar, door Mecha, Aeroflot 021, ready for departure.
Airport 021, radar hello, wind 110 degrees, 5 left, transport to the left, line up and takeoff.
Runway 10 left, clear for takeoff, Aeroflot 021. Okay. So, confirm the read back, runway 10 left, clear takeoff. Below the line. Cabin secure, TCAS, Tara, packs, on, ignition, continuous, anti-ice, engine anti-ice on, before takeoff checklist complete. Clear left, and clear right. Stabilized.
After Lima India 701, clear direct near gate, Aeroflot, Bravo.
70% stabilized, set takeoff thrust.
And Airport 27 Bravo, contact St Petersburg approach, 119 at the bye-bye. 119 Airport 2 Bravo, good night.
Takeoff thrust set, indications normal, 100 knots.
Сколько круг Аэрофлот 1336 на
P1, rotate.
Airport 1336, полный круг, здравствуйте, задержите исполнительную по 50 лево и снизу.
You're up. Order freight.
Поднять лево и жмем Аэрофлот 1336.
Теперь 10.
And autopilot on.
Здравствуйте. Да, взлетающим бортом авиакомпании Airflot, Boeing 138, занимайте исполнительную по 50 лево.
Level change.
Да,
Climb thrust. Flaps 0. Airflot 0 to 1, passing 1,700 feet.
Airflot 0 to 1, and 85, 1,790.
Climb flight level now to 0, Aeroflot 0 to 1. Set. Now they're all checked. Come on, start accelerating. Look at this.
Airflot 1336, ветер по 10 градусов 5 метров в секунду, по 10 лево.
Finally, flat 0.
Поднять лево, там решили Аэрофлот 1336.
It's incredible how slow this autopilot is. Look at that, the slats are up.
001, after waypoint Lima India 701, clear direct near gate.
Aeroflot 0 to 1, after Lima India 701, direct Niggy. Okay, so 701 is up there, let's quickly do that first. So, Nirgi. After 0 to 1, like this. Okay, 701, Nirgi. That's in. So, flaps up, no lights, set standard, passing flight level 46, climbing flight level 90 after takeoff checklist. We'll keep the NTIs on for now. So, flaps and slats, retracted, landing gear up neutral, packs on, and altimeters standard after takeoff checklist complete. So a lot of you have told me that the A310 would primarily be flown using level change rather than profile mode. So I'm just about going to do that today.
Питерский 853, добрый.
And 2 to go.
Питерский 853, здравствуйте.
Even though still with level change, I find this airplane to, well, not fly very... I don't...
Airport 021, contact Petersburg approach, 119, best entry, bye-bye.
119, that's not free, Aeroflot 0 to 1, bye. Petersburg approach, don't Pavecha, Aeroflot 0 to 1, passing flight level 81, climbing flight level 90. Now flight level 260, Aeroflot 0 to 1. And say again the rest. Nope. Okay. Then not, you will repeat if you have everything for us. So, 260 is set and checked. So, back to level change. And looks like we're clear of the clouds, so action any eyes off. So, what I was about to say when we just got interrupted is that I do find this autopilot to react too slow. I know what everyone said, and that the real one would be rather slow as well, but come on. It seems very unlikely that a flight below the reference speed for such a long time. Very unlikely. Okay, I will just keep it at 250 knots until we're above those clouds, and thereafter we'll go to our final climb speed. I can pre-select that already. The preset function is really nice. So let's preset 320 knots. And then once we clear those clouds, I will just pull that one out, and then we'll accelerate. In the meantime, passing 10,000, so lights off, signs off. We had no VOR fixed tuned, and Cruise 370, Max 385, Opt 375, so 370 will be fine. There you go, 320 knots. Should be a good climb speed. Alessandro, why did you turn the landing lights off below 10,000? Because in the ini-build manuals, or rather in the, sorry, not in the ini-build manuals, but in the 310 FCOM, it says that the runway turn-off lights may be used as a replacement for the landing lights. So the landing lights are extendable in the plane, just like in the newer Airbuses as well. And according to the 310 FCOM, they can be retracted, provided the runway turn-off lights are kept on below 10,000 feet. That reduces your overall fuel burn, as it does reduce your drag. Look at the autopilot once again. It's flying more or less a stable 290 knots without really accelerating. Well, with a very slow acceleration, but too slow to even see a trend vector. Like now we get one, but now it's just about pitched down a bit as well. So that, in my opinion, cannot be realistic. But I believe the only way to find out is to actually have a look at a couple of Just Planes videos and see if there is anything to see on that term. So I am going to do that before my next live stream, and on the next one I will be able to tell you if this is realistic or not. I know that many people say the 310's got such an old autopilot that it should be correct, but I don't quite want to believe that, because it is too slow in my opinion. Okay, I did promise you that we wanted to talk a little bit about de-icing. Now, I would have loved to show you on this live stream, but GSX totally messed it up, and you could just see that GSX de-icing procedures were nowhere near what we do in real life. So let's just talk about it in theory while we're sitting here. And the thing is, before the de-icing can start, the pilots have to be 100% sure that the airplane is actually ready for de-icing. And we don't want any de-icing fluids to actually enter our air conditioning system. So that's why it is very important that prior to the de-icing starting, we have to turn the bleeds off. So APU bleed off and the engine bleeds off. And only when those are off, the de-icing can commence. Now, different aircraft have some different systems on how it's done. For example, in the A320, you just press the ditching push button and it is going to configure the airplane correctly. In the 737, you have to do that stuff manually. And in the 310, I believe you have to do it manually as well. Now, once the de-icing procedure is completed, we are then going to get the exact time at which it is completed from the service provider, and then we will, of course, follow up on the holdover times, but those begin at the start of the de-icing procedure already. But the more important thing here is that we'll have to wait at least 1 minute after the de-icing is completed before we can turn the bleeds back on. And that is for any de-icing fluid that might be near those intakes to be removed from the plane before the de-icing, before the air conditioning is actually turned on again. Now, if Aeroflot 021, climb flight level 270 and contact 135.6. Bye bye. Okay. 135.6 and 270. Radar Delta Ledger, Aeroflot 021, passing level 241, climbing 270 inbound near G.
Airport 1, radar contact level 390.
Climb flight level 390 and request 370 final, Aeroflot 021.
Airport 7 Bravo, report Mach number.
I just set 37 for now.
Airport 7 Bravo, making Mach decimal 78 or going out.
Maximal 78 or greater.
Aeroflot 021, request level 370 final.
Airport 1 2, climb flight level 370.
Spasiba, climb flight level 370, Aeroflot 021. Okay, set, 370 checked, and that is once,
Airport 1, making Mach decimal 78 or less.
Aeroflot 021, maintain decimal 78 or less. Okay, let's go 78 straight away, then we can't forget about it. Even though I have a feeling the air traffic controller might get confused there, because if the other plane is at cruise level already, and he certainly looks like he's at least a lot higher, and we are at a lower level, then Mach 78 for us is going to be quite a bit faster than Mach 78 for him at a higher altitude. So the lower you are, the higher generally the true airspeed at the same Mach number. Now we did get interrupted on the topic I was just talking about. I don't really remember. Sorry. Ron, you're still using the beta of the A310. Yes, I am. Alessandro, is the method touch and icing range correct? You need to activate any anti-ice if the message is displayed. Well, the message is definitely correct because the true air temperature is within the icing range. But if you have to activate anti-ice or not, depends. Look outside. If you're inside visible moisture, then yes, you need to activate anti-ice. But if you're not in visible moisture, then you don't need anti-ice as well. So like right now, we're flying in clear skies, so we definitely don't need anti-ice. Oleg, hope you're having a good day. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, my friend. Look at the lovely terrain up here. That's incredible, isn't it?
Контроллер hold ground 6 с вами пересекаем Cockpit. Аэропорт 12 контроль до
I can sit here all day long just watching the train pass by. This is so beautiful in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's see if we can get that weather to work. Let's try the META lookup. See if we can get something. Fly to Sheremetyevo. No, nothing. We just tried something. Can we get weather, for example, for Frankfurt? Yeah, Frankfurt works. So it's probably indeed just Russia that doesn't. Let's see if Minsk works. No. Okay, I guess it's Russia and Belarus that are blocked out then. One more try at a different airport. Yeah, that still works, okay. Then it looks like the weather services are indeed blocked inside Russia. That is unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. Alright, about to reach our cruising level. Vertical speeds. 1 to go. Richard, AFLAL. Hey, fly my favorite airline into my favorite airport. Safe flight. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Oleg, are you planning to do detailed videos on the upcoming PUBG releases, as in 777 and 747? Well, I surely hope so. Scott Gray, I will be flying the 310 today for our company fly-in. We're celebrating 25 years. Which company is it, if I may ask? All Star? So, only 100 miles to go already, until our top of descent. We still have our speed restrictions, so there's the guy causing it. Alt. I'm just going to keep it on Alt. Have manually mark 0.78. And that does look a little turbulent here. Let's just wait a moment before we act on it. First move back to auto. Cruise is active. So the cruise is not going to be very long, so let's go ahead and get ourselves the charts of Moscow and have a look into Sheremetyevo already. I would love to be able to play you the HOTAS of our destination. Unfortunately though, the A310 does not enable me to use COM2. So since I don't want to leave the active ATC frequency, I would much rather... Well, I just have to use the attack status there. That's unfortunate, but nothing we can do about it. But what we can do... Got great, Pacific Airways. Oh, nice. That is indeed... Yeah, that's indeed quite a time. Okay, so let's have a quick look into the destination HOTAS. We have it on the pilot client up here on the text HOTAS, simulating data link. So, Sheremetyevo HOTAS information November at 16:30 Zulu. Expect ILS approach runway 06 right. Less than 10% covered with wet snow. 1 millimeters, friction coefficient decimal 4, measured
Airport 805 Petersburg
by
control. Very good
SFT,
evening.
departure runway 6 center, less than 10% covered,
Flight level 270.
and transition level 110, aprons and taxiway slippery, taxi with caution. Both track hazard in the vicinity of aerodrome. Runway 24 right,
Airport
6
805,
left,
please,
closed,
begin.
taxiway Sierra 4, Sierra 8, Sierra 9, Sierra 10 closed, wind 070 at 6 meters per second,
Airport
visibility
805,
3,800 meters and light
flight level
snow.
310.
Recent snow, clouds overcast 240 meters, so that is something like 700 feet or so. Temperature 4, dew point, temperature -4, dew point -6, QNH 1034, no significant change. Departure frequency, all traffic must insert transition CASBU on via or transition page in MCDU. Acknowledge ATIS information November. Yeah, we have the transition in anyway. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and have a look into our charts and see what things are actually going to be like on our arrival. So we're coming in from Narmin, so that's 3 Echo and 3 Fox arrival. Well, for sure I would prefer to fly the 3 Echo, but I have a feeling with the amount of traffic we're seeing at the moment, we'll probably rather get the 3 Foxtrot because it does enable a little bit of delay there. And at any point in here, they will probably send us direct to Caspu. That is what I would expect from this. So runway 6 right, they say, and the Caspu transition is basically leading us directly over here. A couple of mandatory speeds here, so we gotta be careful with those. Apart from that, feed QNH and meters QFE, well, we shouldn't need those anymore. They are using feet nowadays. Let's see, the runway is Cat 3 enabled. Cat 2 minima 106, Cat 1 minima 819. Well, with the weather that we are seeing, we can do a Cat 1 approach, so let's go 819 and 819. I'd much rather stay in flap 3040. Wind correction is not needed. Okay. Let's see what the airport itself looks like. So Sheremetyevo is rather big. We will be landing on 6 right, that's down here. And then I don't really know where we'll be parking. If anybody of you is familiar with Sheremetyevo, well, we'll probably have to vacate to the right anyway. And then we'll just see where they are going to taxi.
130.5.
So that's the north, we'll take that chart. That's the south, we'll take this as well. Actually this. Okay. I think that should be pretty much all we'll need. Always a good idea as well to have a look at the radar minima chart. So we can see around Sheremetyevo VOR they have minimas where they can vector us of about 2,200, 2,300 to the north, then up to 3,300 in the south over Moscow city. So 109.1 and course is 064. And that should pretty much be it then. Nick D, wow, I didn't expect you to ever see you flying into my home airport. Greetings from Russia and thank you for all your videos. You're welcome, my friends. And Nick, about parking right now, real life domestic flights park on the left side, Terminal B. Okay, so let's have a quick look there. Terminal B is up in the north. Okay, so we're landing on 6 right, then we'll probably vacate to the right, Alpha 6 or Alpha 7, and then left via Alpha 8 or Alpha 9, we'll cross the center runway and then taxi up to the northern apron.
Airport 805, maximum Mars decimal 77.
Alpha 305, maintain Mach decimal 77.
Alessandro, is there any procedure if you're sliding on ice while taxiing into the gate? Yeah, stop the airplane. So, there's not really a lot you can do there except to stop that airplane, and if you can't even taxi at the slowest speeds, like 1 or 2 knots, which sometimes is necessary, but if that doesn't work, then just stop the plane, get a tug, and have yourself towed in. It's not worth pressing the airplane into the gate just, you know, just to collide with something. So, if you have to, just stop the plane there and
Airport 1, contact Moscow control 130.5, push nice flight on 25.
130.5, Aeroflot 021, thank you very much, bye bye. You too.
Добрый вечер. Россия 62. Подходит графка в наборе по
Россия 60-20, Москва контроль, здравствуйте, набирайте эшелон 360.
Lovely scenery.
набирают
Теперь 10-11, набирайте эшелон 380. Набираем 380, 10-11.
Local control, Venture, Aeroflot 021, flight level 370 inbound Desut.
Airport 021, Moscow control, unique identified, shifting the expect Hellas approach runway 06 right via Nami 3 Fox, arrival on careful transition.
Aeroflot 021, expect ILS 06 right via Nami 3 Foxtrot and cleared for the transition. Okay, so Nami 3 Foxtrot is what we do have in the FMC already, and we have the Castle transition as well. Let's go ahead and do a quick briefing then. Threats for the arrival. Slippery surfaces. The surfaces are reported slippery already, so we will definitely taxi at a slower than normal speed. We will not do any single engine taxi, and maximum 5 knots in the turns. And that should pretty much be it then. Apart from that, well, still the Russian language that could cause a little bit of confusion. Even though they did a very, very good job speaking English so far, so they were very well understandable, and they, well, at least I didn't notice them calling for us in Russian language yet. What would our call sign sound like in Russian? Would it be Aeroflot Mil 2 something like that? Just, you know, just to have it somewhere in our minds, and if we do hear that, we might answer in English that they should say again. But I think that's pretty much all that we can do here. So, for the arrival itself, let's actually do it this way. There we go. That looks good. So, Namentry Foxtrot, that means we can get rid of the other chart. So, Namentry Foxtrot leading us from Namen at 270 knots between level 150 and level 160. Here we go. Towards Tarzol, 250 knots below level 110. Pogat, 230 knots, 9,000 feet. Echo Echo 034, 220 knots, 9,000. Acma, Echo Echo 045. Then Tafas and Kesbu, altitude to be assigned by ATC. From there we join the Kesbu transition for the ILS approach runway 06 right. That's Kesbu, maximum 7,000 feet, mandatory 220 knots. And that's in the FMC there. Towards Tieri, 220, maximum 5,000 feet. Too far, maximum mandatory 190 knots and maximum 4,000 feet. Then QZIP, mandatory 180 knots and at 3,000 feet. And then onto Ankos, 2,500 feet. And Echo Echo 622, maximum 160 knots. That is our final approach fix in 2,000 feet. We do have that in here. The glide path is 3 degrees down to the minimum of 819, which we have selected. This approach straight at to 1,100 feet. At or above, then turn right Echo Echo 057. Then you have 1,100 Echo Echo 057. Max 220 knots. 1090 degrees, kilometer 3,000 feet. Well, that looks a tiny bit different in here, but if you compare that, it's 057, oil's on, windy 078, and then on to Castle again. Okay, that is kind of what we have. Sometimes it's easier if you just look at the graphical depiction rather than reading out the text up there. The only important things there are our altitudes, so 3,000 feet is going to be the initial, and 220 knots. 210 for the initial turn, but that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so 3,000 feet, 220 knots. If we have a look over here, we can see the clean speed is actually not calculated correctly. 246 is much too high. Okay, well, no comment on that. So, frequencies 109.1, forces 064, minimums 819, and that's pretty much it. Now comes the funny part. So, we know we have a temperature outside of less than 0 degrees. And that means we will have to do cold temperature corrections to all altitudes that are under the corrected MSA. Before we start that, Christian, I don't know what your icing settings are, but be careful. I was using the 310 on winter ops and I had my pitot tubes freeze, even though the probe heats were on. Aero Flight 021, when ready, descent level 160 to reach my Nanim. Okay, set. 160 checked.
Airport 27 Bravo on conversion speed to 7.
And Namin. Clear that and make it 160 exactly. There we go. Alright. Okay, yeah, with that pitot probes, that bug is actually solved with the current beta. So, there was something in the changelog saying pitot heat and window heat fixed. So, I guess that is exactly what you encountered, that it didn't de-ice the probes. But yeah, that thing seems to be fixed now. 10 miles to go to the top of the descent.
Flight level 310.
And Stefan, hello, good evening. You're flying a very interesting route today. I used to fly through Siberia with Project Turbulence Tu-154. Thank you for all the explanations regarding winter operation. Well, you're welcome, Stefan, you're welcome. And Fly Away, hello to Russia. Okay, so, I meant to explain you something, but I forgot already. Yeah, well, I forgot. Okay, we're slowly approaching the top of descent. Let's go and give ourselves some room. We'll just go level change now. Start our descent now. Good, takeoff from below. And down we go.
Контроль, добрый вечер, 152, сохраняем 280 на борт 310.
Oh yeah, we wanted to do the cold temperature corrections. Let me try to see if I can find a chart for that somewhere online, but it doesn't look like it, no. Okay. and stand by 1 second. I am quickly going to get out an AFCOM and we will use that. So in general, why is cold temperature correction necessary? When you are flying at a very low temperature, so generally temperatures below 0 degrees centigrade, then you will be at a lower altitude than what your altimeter indicates. And in order to compensate for that, we have to increase all the altitudes on the altimeter below the temperature corrected MSA. So if we have a look into those in a few moments, then you will understand what I'm saying.
Airport 021 on conversion speed 250.
Airfloat 021 confirmed 250 knots. No answer. I guess that is a yes. So that's gonna be slow. Well, if they want us at 250, they want us at 250. Not a lot we can do about it.
Airboat info, Alpha Charlie, to control, unique identity.
Okay, so let's have a quick look into the cold temperature correction table. And this is basically what it looks like. So, we have our altitude correction table here, and we see the airport temperature is between minus 10 and 0 degrees. So, that means height above altimeter reference source is the height above the airport in this case, and then we have our temperature up here. Up here we have the actual difference between the height above the altimeter reference source. So the first thing we need to do now is to have a look into our chart once again. So let's have a look into the chart, and we can see we've got an MSA of 4,000 feet defined around the airport. The airport itself is located at 600 feet, so that means we have 3,400 feet of height between the airport and the MSA. Now 3,600 feet, we need to correct that, because that is 3,600 on the altimeter, while in reality the air is cold and therefore is contracting, and therefore we need to select higher altitudes in our FMC. So if we go ahead now and have a look into the table, and we see that we have 3,600. Now the table only goes to 3,000. The temperature is minus 3. So the altimeter is going to underread between 170 and 290 feet, as we can see in the table over here. And if you are searching for a table like this, in the 737 AFCOM, it is in the Supplementary Procedures Adverse Weather chapter. Then going on from there, we would now kind of take the average between the two, so you have to do a little bit of interpolation there. And we can see that, let's take half of it, that brings us on the conservative half. So we have 120 feet difference of plus 60, meaning 230 feet extra. So our corrected MSA is 4,230. Now from there on, we'll have to correct any altitude below that. So we have the waypoint too far, which is, or in Russia probably called Tufar, which is at 4,000 feet. So we'll have to correct this to an altitude of 4,260. So we put this in the FMC. Then we go on the exclusive, that's at 3,000 feet. Now we go into the manual once more. We check, we're now looking at 2,000 feet above the, sorry, we're now looking at around about 2,500 feet. So we can see, once again, we are right in the middle of all of those. So what I would do is, I take 60 extra from here, put it on here, that means 180 feet more that we have to have on the altimeter. In other words, the altitude at Kuzia will be changed from 3,000 feet.
Airport 805
Yeah,
on
Kuzia
top of this thing.
says at or above 3,000, and we make that 3,200.
Airport 805,
Then we have Inikos, 2,500 feet, so 500
flight
less.
level
We said we're taking 200 more, so we can just about go ahead here, NCOS, and change that.
Airport 805,
From 2,500, 200 on top, give me
flight level
2,700 feet.
150 to reach Nami.
And then the last one we have is final approach fix at Echo Echo 622. And looking into the manual once more, that thing is 2,000 feet, so just about 1,400 feet of height above the airport. So 1,400, give me 1,500 in the table here. We take half between this, so let's go 120 feet on top. So Echo Echo 622 plus 120 feet means we have to have 2,120 feet at the final approach fix. Alright, and that is our cold temperature corrections applied. Now, let me quickly summarize for you why we actually had to do this. When the air is cold, the outside, the air basically compresses, just like it expands when it is hot. And that means that in temperatures colder than ICAO standard atmosphere, we are actually at a lower altitude than what is indicated. 127.04021, bye.
Airport 027, Moscow Cockpit.
Moscow approach, Dobra Veccha, Aeroflot 021, flight level 160, information November, speed 250 knots.
Airport 021, Moscow approach, good evening, identified, continue descent to 9,500 feet via seats by QNH 1034, speed is published.
Aeroflot 021, descent 9,000 feet, QNH 1034, and speeds as published. Okay, so set 9,000 checked, set altimeter 1034, passing 16,400, descending 9,000, no flag step by set. Let's go to the constraints here. Okay, I'm going to maintain 250 knots, even though 270 is published on this segment. I'll maintain 250 and then we'll reduce speed in line with the star. Okay, so to pick up where I stopped previously, due to the real altitude and temperatures lower than ICAO standard being lower than what's indicated on the altimeter, we will have to apply those corrections to our altimeter readouts. Now, if we have one final look into that chart, then we're going to see that
Airport 27 Bravo, contact Sheremetyevo radar 122.
at a height of 200 feet above the airfield, our altimeter is under-reading by 20 feet, so we have to add 20 feet on top. So this one also applies to the minimum on our ILS, which is published as 890.
Babylon 1009,
And we have to add those 20 feet to it. So 890 becomes 839. On the altimeter, that is. In real life, of course, it's still going to be, in real life, it's still going to be the 200 feet above the ground. Just that your altimeter is going to indicate 220. And Ketan earlier, in fact, you have very informative video series of high quality. Thank you for all of them, and for today separately. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. You're welcome. And hi, Yannick. Nice to see you. And let's go vertical speed minus 1,000. Need to be below 11,000 at Tarsal and then 9,000 at Bogat. Okay.
Airport 021, clear direct too far, Delta Uniform, Foxtrot Alpha Romeo.
Airport 021, direct too far. And here we go, direct to too far. Insert. That's quite a shortcut. But the earlier we are on the ground, the better it is. Seatbelts are on.
Cockpit Airport 36, Boeing эшелон 150.
Аэрофлот 1336, Москва, подход, здравствуйте, опознан, снижайтесь 10 тысяч футов, QNH 1034.
10 тысяч футов, QNH 1034, Airport 36.
So, looks like we don't have a speed restriction now anymore. Those are some rather low-lying clouds there. If you think about that, we're at 10,500 feet right now. And those are pretty low. But that does match the HOTAS. They said clouds are 240 meters above the ground, so just about 700 feet or so. That should be fine. Gonna be an interesting approach, that much is for sure. One to go. For 500 feet a minute. So, turn of lights on.
Sabina
ILS
1806,
is
Moscow approach with
selected.
identified
Auto brakes.
560,
We will use
Total
medium on this one. So, zero Visconska is correct. RMD, accuracy
16,
high.
Москва, подход, здравствуйте, опознан, разрешаю прямо на радке, снижайтесь по старый эшелон 190.
Moscow is a really cramped airspace. You have 3 airports, or rather 3 major airports, in a very short distance from one another, and then of course you have the secondary airports around. Plus you have a couple of military fields there as well, so pretty busy airspace. That's also the reason why we're flying so low already, at almost 9,000 feet, even though our distance from the airport is still like, well, I would guesstimate it to be somewhere in the region of
Airport
50 miles
021, contact Sheremetyevo Raider, 122.7, bye-bye.
122.7, Airport 021, bye-bye. Sheremetyevo Radar, Dobrovecha, Aeroflot 021, information November, descending flight level, correction altitude 9,000 feet.
Airport 031, Sheremetyevo Raider, information Oscar, runway 06 right, distance 4,000 feet, QNH 1034.
Information Oscar 06 right, descend 4,000, QNH 1034, Aeroflot 021. Set, and that's 4,000, checked. We'll keep using vertical speed, minus 500 for now. We have to cross Dufar at 4,600-ish, so let's adjust that vertical speed so that we cross Dufar at level.
Alpha Tower F from the 10,500.
So 1000 looks good. Banana is pretty much not too far down here. As we can see, a little bit of wobbling up and down, but in total that does look quite good there. Very nice. Flutter, are you going to try the new CJ4 by Woke title that comes out in January? I probably am. And Yannick, it's been a long time since I saw a live stream flying into or from Russia. I like it. Yeah, it's been indeed a long time. To be honest, I was a bit unsure if I should do it as well. But for now, it's really nice. They're doing a very good job. We have the speed limit by Dufa, 190 knots, just to keep that in mind. Might actually use 1500 feet a minute here, and that is going to keep us, well, that is going to give us a couple of miles to reduce our speed as we approach Dufa.
Аэрофлот 1336, вокруг проекта информация значит правый, 4
We start receiving the ILS. Let's do a quick cross-check there. Frequency 109.1, course 064, and the minimum is 890, corrected to 839. Okay, that looks good. Then it's time for the approach checklist. Signs.
Airport 021 up to 47,500 feet established, VSMS approach number 0.
Aeroflot 021 up to 47,500 feet is published, cleared LS 06 right. Okay. So, cleared for the ILS, then let's start getting the speed under control then. And approach checks once again. Signs set, briefing confirmed, decam status check, altimeters 1034 set. Minimums 840 set, ignition off, landing elevation 600 set. Approach check is complete. And we're about to enter the clouds, engine anti-ice on. Temperature +6 for now, but that is going to reduce rapidly. And time to start the speed reduction. Max 190 knots at too far. Flaps 15. Normally you should avoid prolonged operation in icing conditions. Airport 021, clear direct takeoffs. Or NCOS, yeah. Insert, we'll take the shortcut. And then we can descend 2,500 as cleared. Might make that 2007.
Airport 2000, tower contact with tower, 131 left from 5 415, airport 2000.
Right, so, NCOS 2700 we set. So yeah, normally you should avoid prolonged operation in icing conditions with the flaps extended, but that more refers to things like holdings rather than just flying a little slower speed on the arrival with the flaps extended.
4,000 feet, QNH 1034.
Nick, that is a very good question there. Quote, I would like to ask you, as an English-speaking pilot, how much of a discomfort is it for you to hear radio conversations in the local language in the air? Do they interfere with or disrupt you? Quote end. Yes, it is disturbing, because you're trying to make up a mental image on what's going around, or what's going on around you, and in order to do that, you need to understand those transmissions. But when they're constantly talking in different languages, first of all, it becomes very, very hard to even pay attention to hear your own call sign. And even worse, the controllers sometimes do confuse it. So I've had it a few times now, especially when flying in Spain, that they just started talking Spanish with me, and then they complained that we didn't understand vital stuff. And there has actually been a case of an almost collision on the runway, also in Spain, where an air traffic controller told the pilot that behind the departing fueling, line up behind, and then the fueling got takeoff clearance in Spanish, and that led to the aircraft lining up on the runway, but there was a second aircraft of the same company, so a second fueling that was meant to go behind them as well. So the other aircraft entered the runway because there was another aircraft standing on a holding point to the right of them, so they couldn't see that there was a second departing aircraft. And they entered the runway while that other aircraft was still accelerating for takeoff roll. Now the fueling had to reject takeoff after that, and that kind of solved the problems. But that could have ended in a collision on the runway. So, in my opinion, English should be the exclusive language used in aviation anywhere, and there should not be any local languages allowed. Because anything else reduces safety while not bringing any benefit. Like, for example, the Russian pilots have to speak English anyway because they do fly outside of Russia as well. Just like French pilots need to speak English as well because they not exclusively fly in France, at least in most of the cases. So that is somewhat of a problem. And in my opinion, that should not be allowed, but as long as the others have other opinions, not a lot that can be done about it, and we'll have to live with it.
Air 021 approaching final contact, leaving the tower 131 decimal 5.
131 decimal 5, Aeroflot 021, bye-bye. Sierra Matthew Tower, Doppler Badger, Aeroflot 021, turning final, runway 06 right. Flaps 15. Sierra Matthew Tower, good evening, Aeroflot 021, ILS 06 right. Flaps up star. No, well. Aeroflot 021, confirm the frequency for the tower, please.
Airflow 021, 131, decimal 5.
131, decimal 5, Aeroflot 021, bye-bye.
Airport 805, 4,000 feet.
Okay, gear down. Flaps 20. Tower, good evening, Aeroflot 021, ILS 06 right.
Airport 021,
40.
Tower, good evening, runway 06 right, to land, wing 08037 meters per second to again, super.
Runway 06 right, clear to land, vacate to the left, Aeroflot 061. Okay, so, final speed 136. Might use a bit of wing ATIs here as well.
Line up and wait.
Okay, landing checklist. Landing gear, down, auto brakes, medium, anti-skid, checked, flat flaps, 30 and 40, spoilers, armed, landing checklist complete. So, the Approach lights in sight, disconnecting autopilot. Wow, that looks impressive. Well, and that's the glide slope going away. I should stay in the cockpit while I'm flying. I should absolutely stay in the cockpit. Do you see something? Yeah.
100.
Man, we have quite a high pitch here for that descent rate.
100.
Okay, go around. Okay, flaps. Gear up. Positive rates. Flight direct does not give me good indications there.
Airflow 021, should make to tower.
Aeroflot 021 going around, standby. Okay, that flight director guidance is unusable. That airspeed indication is incorrect. That is absolutely incorrect. Aeroflot 021, Mayday, 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 unreliable airspeed, standby. Okay, let's level off here. What do we have? Ground speed 240. Okay, let's check those flaps.
Шереметьевочка, Аэрофлот 1336, на прямой 06 справа. Аэрофлот 1336, Шереметьевочка, здравствуйте, ОП 06 справа, продолжайте заход. Продолжаем заход 06 справа, Аэрофлот 1336.
Okay, and flaps up. We're doing 240 knots ground speed. We can see that on the navigation display. Aeroflot 021, we are proceeding present heading, maintaining 2,000, we're climbing 3,000 feet, request radar vectors for a second approach.
Okay, Aeroflot 021, roger, turn left heading 0405 to 3,000 feet, contact Sheremetyevo radar 118.1.
Left heading 040, maintain 3,000 feet and 118.1, Aeroflot 021.
Aeroflot, disregard.
Oh, shit. Sheremetyevo radar, good evening. Mayday, Aeroflot 021. Maintaining, currently descending 3,000 feet, heading 040, airspeed unreliable.
Airfloat 021, roger, Monday. Vector square left approach, runway 06 right, turn left heading 340.
Vector Silas 06 right and left heading 340, Aeroflot 021. Okay, so anything useful down here? That is airspeed unreliable stuff there, isn't it? Yeah, unreliable airspeed. To level off. Set pitch 2 degrees. Set thrust below 170%. Okay, so 2 degrees, 70%. So it looks like after all, any builds did not fix the prop heat issue. Contrary to what is in the changelog.
021, turn left heading 250 and contact Sheremetyevo radar 122 decimal 7 bye-bye.
Left lane 250, 122 decimal 7, airflow 021, bye bye.
Sheremetyevo radar, hello, Airflow 020, about passing 1500 feet.
Airflow 020 Sheremetyevo radar, good evening, identified, climb to IT to flight level 140.
YT 140, 4020.
Sheremetyevo radar, good evening, airflow 021, turning left heading 250, altitude 3000.
Airflow 021 Sheremetyevo radar, hello again, identified, climb 4000 feet.
Aeroflot 021, unable, we are on airspeed unreliable, request to maintain 3000 feet.
Airflow 021, roger.
So, in the 737, this would be the point where we get out the QRH to get the flight with airspeed unreliable tables, which would give us some information about the pitch and power values required for certain aircraft configurations. Now, in here, that might...
Airflow 021 and right heading 280.
Airflow 021, right heading 280. In here, I don't have any of these tables available, so we'll have to improvise a little bit.
Exploration reduce speed 1900 knots. Babylon 208, reduce speed 190 knots expiration.
Okay, well, we have to work with what we have. So we have a true airspeed indication here, which I'm not 100% sure where it's coming from, but the ground speed should be accurate. The wind display, well, probably not accurate. And that's giving the same indication as here. Okay, so both airspeeds are unreliable. Do we have any... Do we have any additional information available anywhere? Position monitor, what's that? Yeah, let's just quickly get that ILS back in. 06 right, Casco non-insert, and you can go directly too far.
Airflow 021 and left heading 250.
Airflow 021, left heading 250.
Свердловский 1, работать Шереметьево вышка, 121, Д5 здание. Работать Шереметьево вышка, Д5 здание. Airflow 027, descent established to Delta 500 feet, clear direct approach from the 065.
Descent established 2500 feet, approach from 068, Airflow 04.
Aeroflot 021, do you have any speed indication for us?
Airflow 021, on my radar, your ground speed is 350 knots.
Aeroflot 021, roger, that's the same we see as well. We'll try to go on that for now, but we will not be able to fly an accurate speed on final. We will probably be quite a bit faster than usual. So please provide sufficient separation, at least 8 miles I would say, to the preceding aircraft.
Airflow 021, roger.
Okay, lovely. So that speed is still not working. But at least the ground speed is accurate. If the radar from air traffic control calculates the same, then that is probably accurate.
Airport 027, reduce speed 180 knots in separation.
Speed 180 knots, Airport 027.
Okay, yeah, we'll take the vectors to the final, and then we'll start configuring based on the ground speed. The ground speed is probably going to be like 20 knots slower than our actual indicated airspeed. So based on that, we should be able to configure that airplane. I kinda regret I didn't fly this route with the 737. With the 737 at least I would have known the proper memory items and would have had the proper sources to actually fly this stuff properly. That's too bad.
I'm better to 08, continue to send 4,000 feet.
737 NG123, check your screenshots in Discord for checkers and unreliable airspeed. Do you have the complete checklist for me by any chance? Because currently I only see the same stuff that we have on the control column here. But if you have the complete checklist, that would be very much appreciated. And Alex, if you can send me that checklist as well, that would be much appreciated. Yes, ProPeter is on. Just cycling it, but the ProPeter is definitely on.
Airport 027, reduce speed 160 knots separation.
Speed 160 knots, Airport 027.
And Alex, if you can find me on Discord and just put that checklist in there or send me a direct message, that would be very much appreciated. So apart from that, what is the fuel?
Airport 021, left heading 170.
Aeroflot 021, left heading 170.
0 stable 065.
Airport 027, Roger, confirm meter tower 131, transform 5, bye-bye.
1 transfer, Airport 0, да, обратно спасибо. Shimichiba radar, Adobe Beach Heater, Nordland 150, descending 9,000 feet, passing flight level 110, direct to bar.
Okay, fuel is a bit of a concern as well here. 3.5 tons now, with a fuel flow of more than 4 tons per engine. That means we're actually inside our final reserve fuel.
Runway 06 right, reduce speed to 210, knots, Nordland 150.
And Nordland 150, continue to descend 4,000 feet, QNH 1034.
4,000 feet, QNH 1034, Nordland 150.
Aeroflot 021, we are on final reserve fuel as well now.
Airport 021, Roger, continue present heading.
Present heading, Aeroflot 021. Okay, in other words, we don't have a go around left, so we need to go straight in now. $737 and you want to... Yeah, what about the backup speed indicator? Yeah, you tell me. We only have two in here, do we? We have the captains, we have the FOs, both are indicating the same.
Target to the range, it's ready to clear direction for.
Okay, so we do have the memory items in Discord now. So, airspeed unreliable memory items. Autopilot flight director off, auto throttle off, pitch thrust below, thrust reduction altitude is No, that's for the takeoff. So flaps maintain config. Well, that's not a problem anymore since we overspeeded them anyway. Speed brake check, retracted, landing gear up. When at or above the MSA, level off for troubleshooting. Okay. Well, that's basically what we're doing. So the only thing we would need now is the
Aeroflot 021, turn left, heading 090.
left heading 090, Aeroflot 021. The only thing that would be nice now is the pitch power values for final approach. But I mean, there's always been like 5 degrees or so. So we'll have to work on that. Okay, that's leading us pretty much directly onto the final. Doing 270 knots ground speed now, so that should be fine. Let's take a small moment to think what is reliable and what is not. So, the stick shaker should work, the ground speed indication should work, the pitch works, the altitude works, and the ILS works. In other words, if we control the... Airoflot 021, this heading cleared, ILS 06 right, will go. Okay, so we're gonna fly it on the ground speed now. That is the best course of action I can see. Apart from that, the FO's indication is also still frozen. Up here. Let's try reducing that speed. So we saw previously that we are approaching the stall when we are roughly at 10 degrees of pitch attitude. So we'll try not to go there. That's 15.
Northbound 150, reduce speed 180 knots configuration.
Speed 180 knots, line 150.
And Northbound 150, descent and published 2,500 feet, clear pilot approach 064.
Descent as published 2,500, cleared ILS, runway 06 right approach, north line 150.
Airport 029, continue descent for tower.
Okay, so let's see, the wind is coming directly from the side. In other words, the ground speed indication on the final should more or less equal the ground speed we will have on, will more or less equal our airspeed. That is good. And master caution, fuel low level. Fuel management check, fuel low level, procedure apply. Okay, cancel. How much is it now? 2.8. Wow, that is not a lot. But it will be sufficient to get us down. Even though, in case I go around, we'll just fly a traffic pattern. Okay. So we'll try to reduce that speed a little bit further.
Airport 021 confirmed established.
Airport 021 localizer established.
Alpha 021, Roger, contact Limit Tower, 131, that's 15, bye-bye.
131.5, Aeroflot 021, thank you very much for your help.
Alpha 029, and descent published.
208, speed 090 degrees, 7 minutes per second,
So,
runway
final approach course 064.
Airport 027, cross runway 06, Autopilot location, position Mr. Brown, 1, destination today.
Cross runway 06, Alpha, get 1 Airport 07, обратно.
Airport 121, скажите, вас в этим линии находится в начале?
Нет, на начале работала.
Вот это.
Sheremetyevo Tower, good evening again. Aeroflot 021, established ILS 06 right.
Airport 021, Sheremetyevo Tower, please maintain runway 06 right, 16 hours approach,
Continue approach, Aeroflot 061. Okay, glide slope alive. Let's get flap 15 out. Knots ground speed, slight headwind. So at flaps 15 it normally maintained around 190 knots on final. So that should be quite okay.
Weather 208, exit okay.
You're down.
208, ticket by go stop.
You're down. Thank you. Flaps 20. And flaps 40. So 5 degrees of pitch is what we normally had on final all the time. So if we can keep it in a region where 5 degrees more or less keeps us on the glide slope, then that is pretty much the optimal case that we can ask for. So this does seem to be quite a good configuration now. Landing check.
090 degrees, 7 minutes per second, runway 06 right, clear to land, again to left.
Runway 06 right, clear to land, Aeroflot 021, and confirm the gate left. Roger. Okay, approach light from the side, landing checklist, landing gear down, auto brakes off, anti-skid on, sleds flaps, 30-40, spoilers. Well, we're going to do manual spoilers because I don't know if we can trust the system like this. Okay, landing checklist complete. This seems to be getting a bit slow, we need too much pitch. Okay, this is better. Under 50 knots ground speed, 10 knots headwind, we might be a touch fast at the moment, but the runway is long enough. Directing sync rate.
Sync rate 100, 50, 40, 50, 20, 10, 5.
Speed brake up, thrust was normal. Okay, 100 knots ground speed. 80, well 50.
Sheremetyevo Tower, Nordland 150, ILS, runway 06 right.
Nordland 150, Sheremetyevo Tower, today, wind 090 degrees, 7 minutes per second, runway 06 right, clear to land.
Okay, well.
Right clear to land, Nordland 150.
apart from the fact that the frames just...
One cross runway 06 center, when vacation, potential meter ground, 1 display, and doing the
Airflow 021, cross runway 06 center, and actually our frame rates are so bad right now. We'll just about disconnect here. But thank you very much for controlling, and thank you very much for your excellent services. I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, well, we'll disconnect from VATS in here right now. These frame rates that we're getting right now are pretty much unflyable. And anyway, that airplane is going straight to maintenance, so that's pretty much this party complete. Let's just about stop here. Well, okay, that is a very different ending for the live stream than what I would initially have expected. Nonetheless, thank you very, very much for watching, everyone. This was really an interesting approach, and most certainly because it was totally unexpected. Now, funnily enough, just yesterday and the day before, I had my annual recurrent simulator. So, I kinda had, I'm kinda in the mood currently for those failures. Well, of course it just had to happen. And Yannick, congrats, you just destroyed your aircraft. Well, we can walk away from the landing, can we? Those flap overspeeds that probably happened, you know, happened. ATC will have to fix that. Sorry, ATC maintenance have to deal with that, not my problem. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'm gonna end the live stream here at this point, because